I got really self-conscious, like a granddad at a wedding. Right, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready for our next act? Yes, he's absolutely wonderful. Here he comes. It's the wonderful Sean Patrick. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Some call me the Gangster of Love. Between you and me, I think they're taking the piss. Have we got any clinically obese Chinese Geordies in tonight? Never get to use that material. Simmer down. Newcastle, of course, home to an enormous Chinese community. In fact, apart from Smith, the second most common surname in the city is the Cantonese name Yi, which is spelt Y-I. If ever you're feeling down and despondent, do what I do. Imagine the rich, dulcet tones of Sir Terry Wogan saying the words, "I do love a bit of the old bukkake." Turn that frown upside down. Whenever I'm watching the brutal greenhouse rape scene in The Lion King, I think to myself, someone's mixed these discs up. Good news from America, of course. Donald Trump. I mean, yes, he has his shortcomings, but I just feel it's been ages, hasn't it, since we had a really feel-good assassination. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you tonight, determined to make it as a stand-up comedian, or die trying. Place your bets. I work very hard at this. I come here to see top comedians perform to try and gain even more stage presence and charisma. And some of these top comedians, you know, your McIntyres, your Millikans, your Chegwins, they've so much stage presence and charisma, they can just walk on stage and lift one hand in the air like this and wave. The entire room erupts into laughter. Still working on that one. I sometimes worry I don't have the skill set for this. I mean, the main thing I'm good at is self-deprecation. I mean, I say good, I'm all right. I have what I describe as a quirky personality, or as my wife once called it, I'm leaving you. But what I am good at is remembering things, have excellent memory for facts, and all sorts of facts about all sorts of things. For example, you're probably aware you're never more than 6 feet away from a rat. And I think that, more than anything, is what's always put me off skydiving. And another fact you may not be familiar with, if you were to collect up every single receipt issued on London's Oxford Street on a single Saturday afternoon, you collected them all up, lay them all end to end, you'd be sectioned under the Mental Health Act. So, right, what I thought I'd do, I've got a couple of ideas to jazz this up a bit. First thing I'd like to share with you a poem I've written. It's called Ode to a Wasp on a Summer's Day. Ode to a wasp on a summer's day. Oh, wasp, fuck off. And then I thought, keep it topical, Sean, keep it topical. So, of course, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so I thought I'd share with you an Irish joke. What's worse than biting into an apple and finding a worm inside. Being sodomized by a priest and no one believes you. I think we know each other well enough now that I can trust you. Tell you a bit more about myself. One thing that not everyone knows about me, I used to have a very serious drink problem. I used to be a big drinker, and I remember once, I had some adventures. I remember once I was driving a car. It was at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was still drunk from the night before, and I lost control of the car, and it careered into a brick wall. And I turned to the woman sitting next to me in the passenger seat, and I didn't know her name. I'd only met her an hour before. And I said, "I've failed, haven't I?" At this stage, you're obviously saying to yourself, "Steady on, Sean, it's like a pressure cooker in here. Keep pushing it like this, you're going to take the roof off." So, at this stage, I thought maybe I should just tell you some more jokes. So, strap in. What's the difference between catching your neighbours having sex or catching your neighbours having a threesome? My ex-wife. So I now call her my new neighbour. I've actually told my mother that my ex is dead. It seemed to make things simpler somehow. And also I thought, if ever we get back together, what a lovely surprise for both of them. I'm currently staying with my mother on her sofa bed. It's one of those old-fashioned sofa beds. It looks just like a sofa, and then you just turn it into a bed by just throwing a quilt on it. I've always been close to my mother because when I was growing up, my father wasn't around much. See, I didn't realise, obviously, but when my mother was pregnant with me, my father secretly wanted a little girl. And then, luckily, I suppose, before anything happened, the little girl's parents found out, and he had to leave in a hurry. And so growing up, my role model was my mother's father, my grandfather. He died when I was 12, and it was tragic, really. He died at work. He was a big game hunter, and he was crushed to death by the falling marbles from a giant Kaplunk set. I can't wait. So, I'm not very good with women. I never know what to say to them. Quite often I would see a pretty lady, far too pretty for me, and a voice in my head will say, "Ask her out, Sean. What have you got to lose?" The answer is always the same: hope. Of course, I don't make things easy for myself because I'm actually quite choosy about my ladies. I like my women how I like my whiskey. Teachers. Preferably called Glenn something or other. So, I've been working on a couple of new chat-up lines, which I'd like to practice tonight. You'll do. And then the other one is, how much does a polar bear weigh? 400 kilos, will you go out with me? I'll put you down as a maybe. I should warn you, it's been some time since I've had intimate carnal knowledge of a lady, because even when my wife and I were still together, we'd reached that stage in a relationship where you wake up next to someone, don't you? And you turn over and look at them, and you start dressing them with your eyes. But I'm not too worried. Because I like to think that sexual intercourse is a little bit like riding a bicycle, in that I think it's more fun in the park. I like to ring a little bell to let people know I'm coming. My name's Sean Patrick. Thank you for having me. Good night.
Sean Patrick! Ladies and gentlemen, the Comedy Store, we put on newer acts and people who haven't done quite as much comedy for shorter spots. They're called open spots, and it brings people on through the club. And that was Sean's first time down here at the Comedy Store, ladies and gentlemen. I think he did pretty well. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. Yes, someone shouted, yes, very, very good, very good. Very nice to be here. And so, what else was I going to tell you? Here's a good question. Who likes sex? Just some of you. This bloke put his hand up. It's not another auction, mate. It's not, sex or him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 69. Any raise? Come on, my tits. Any raise? Any raise? Suck you off with a finger up your bum. Sold. Done. It's the best one, isn't it? Innit? Sucked off with a finger up your bum. Best one, innit? Innit? Overshared. I like sex, ladies and gentlemen. Think I'm pretty brilliant at it. Got a massive cock. 12 inches wide. 1 inch long. It's like a rudder. Like a skin rudder. No one quite knows what to do with it. Now, I'm married, ladies and gentlemen. I've been married for 14 years. I got married when I was 12. I was Devon. I was on the shelf. It's too late. Had to get on with it. Clock was ticking. Now, I married my best friend. My wife was livid, angry about it, furious. No, we were friends first. When I say friends, we were friends.